This build features content from packs that I got for free through the EA Creator Network. Today I am building another lot for my Haunted Copperdale save file that is inspired by 80s horror. And today's is the auditorium for the high school, which I was really excited to do because I've never actually built on this lot before. I didn't really know how it worked with sort of the different selected active lots. I did learn though that you need to save each individual active event lot to the gallery and place them down. So if you want this build on the gallery, there will be like four different ones that you're gonna have to save and put into your game. But as you can see from my intro, I did playtest the prom stuff with my like Copperdale save that I had going on, which was what influenced me to pick this back up. And I really do want to do the high school because I would love to have my own custom high school in my gameplay, but it's definitely taking some time, and I probably won't get around to another one of these for at least a month, I think. I started a general store lot that is halfway done, but while I was like doing this and I was taking the videos of the prom, I thought maybe I want to move the general store to a different lot so I could use that lot for like a pizza place. I don't know yet, but that's like what I kind of want to do. So that might change and I might move some stuff. For this build though, you could see that I have pretty much a basic shape set up. I was inspired by old vintage theaters and I was looking at different pictures on Google to get an idea for because I liked the idea of the auditorium seeming like a place that would hold plays, and even though you can't do that in The Sims, I did set up a stage with one of the Get Famous like backdrop set pieces. I don't know, something like that. And it moves and disappears if you like need the graduation stuff or the prom stuff. And so the whole space is adjusted for all of the different events that can be held here. I believe I only show me decorating for the prom and maybe the career day because the graduation was very similar to the prom. And I did end up buying the party essentials kit for this, which like I know like people don't have like a bunch of kits and stuff, and some people don't like kits, but I really liked the items in it and I felt like they would really add a bit of personality to this build. So I did buy that kit after like not getting it for such a long time because I didn't think that I would ever use it. And then when I was looking at some of the items, I was like, wow, these are actually really good for this build and like any other build that I want to do in Copperdale. I feel like it goes really well with high school years. And so you'll see some of that being used in this build. And if you're looking at this weird red building off to the side, this is supposed to be a ticket booth place. I picked out those windows because they looked like maybe you could like walk up to it and hand a ticket through it, even though it's definitely not the case. And then I liked the wood trim of it. They're like vampire windows, I believe. And so I used them throughout some of the builds. And I think I had to adjust some of this a lot throughout because I really didn't know the floor plan. This was one of those builds that I had to adjust a lot while I was working out what the interior was going to be set up as. I was trying to make the auditorium have like balcony seating at the top, but it was looking really weird and messed up, and it just didn't make any sense. So the upstairs ends up kind of being, my thoughts were that it's like a place for like the cheer practice or like a dance team to rehearse, and that area gets converted into the prom area and the career day area. So it was nice to have pretty much an empty space upstairs that can just be like have items moved around. I was also going for sort of a circusy aesthetic on the exterior, which maybe it looks that way, especially in the intro. I wanted it to kind of feel like that, and I achieved it mostly just using these Strangerville columns and having that like red ticket booth area, and I build like a square room on top which is empty. Like that room ends up just being an office space where you would sell like tickets through the window, and the tower is just like there's no floor. So it's just kind of like a high ceiling over there. But I think that's what helps to really give it the circusy vibe. Like circus to me screams horror, so I really just it naturally just started to happen when I was building this, and I thought that the life and death like like detail pieces really helped to make the build look a little bit more put together. And I used a lot of light stone, but I used like different ones from different packs. I could not tell you what all of them are from. I know two of them are from Discover University. The other one might be from Life and Death. Which reminds me that if you've been looking into getting some more Sims packs and you've been waiting for a sale, there is the EA summer sale that's going on right now, and I know that Life and Death is on sale. The percentages off varies and like I think may change throughout. But if you're looking to get any packs, or if you see an item that I'm using and you're like, oh, maybe I want to get that pack if I want to download this, I'd appreciate if you used my creator code, which is CrackedKyber at checkout on the EA app. It's not a discount code, but it does help to support me. I am really surprised with how quickly the build seems to be put together. Like 7 minutes into the video, because when I was doing this, it felt almost impossible at some points because it is such a different style than what I'm used to building. These sorts of builds definitely take me a lot more time and a lot more effort and a lot more energy. And that's also why my Copperdale save file is taking much longer than, like, say, my Glimmerbrook save file took, which I think I built everything in just a couple of months and I put it all together pretty quickly and I had all the Sims for it. But this one is definitely taking some time. But I keep seeing like the Summerween reels and it's making me want to build for this again like a lot more. And I do have a lot of builds that are planned for the summertime. I've also seen that there are quite a few simmers who have done 80s builds for Copperdale. I mean, Copperdale pretty much is like inspired by 80s, I think, or at least it seems that way to me. So it makes sense that there's a lot of simmers who try and like do a full 80s save file, which is really cool because if you want to mix and match like my builds with other people's builds, because I know that my residential lots are not going to be as good as some other simmers. And if you want to use some of my community lots mixed with their stuff, I mean, I think that would be really cool and stuff. I don't know the names of everybody who has done it, but I've seen like quite a bit of Copperdale like Summerween content on Instagram and stuff. So there's always like a lot of builds that you can mix and match together to make your own version of Copperdale, and it doesn't have to just be all from one creator. It is such a fun aesthetic to build for, and why I thought the Party Essentials kit worked really well for this, and why I was like looking at it, I was decided to buy it, and I'm actually really happy with it. You could see some of the party streamers I hung up outside towards the right of the build. I feel like it added a bit of detail and it made sense for this because I don't know what else I would have put there besides maybe some sort of like university flags, but this like made more sense for what I was going for with the build. And also there's the really pretty balloons and stuff. I will say that I don't know when the Party Essentials kit came out, but it does feel like an expansion to high school years. Like some of the stuff I feel like maybe it could have been in high school years. And when I was looking at it, because I was like, these go like really, really well together, has like similar color palettes to each other. I don't know when each of them were released though. And I was really liking using the romantic garden stuff. I constantly am forgetting what the name of that stuff pack, but I really was liking using them for this, especially with like the pops of red around the base of the build because a lot of the rest of the build has red, like the red roof and the red tower area. So it's nice to blend that in a little bit, especially in the base of the build that is a whole lot of stone. And I think I'm using some university windows mixed in too, and I think they look really nice. I did put a couple of the new windows from Business and Hobbies, I think, but that's like towards the like I feel like I call it like the circusy ticket booth because it feels like a circus to that side because I did want it to kind of feel like a circus aesthetic, and I feel like maybe that's the one part that actually achieves that, and the rest feels like a very fancy university building, which, like, if you're seeing this look right now, you could kind of assume that my high school will use similar things to it. I don't know, like, how much of it is going to look like this, but I feel like it would make sense considering this is directly next to the high school. I just don't want to make the high school way too big, and that's what I'm going to be struggling with and why I'm putting off actually doing the high school because I know how annoying it is if you're trying to do gameplay in the high school and everything is so far away from each other. So I'd really like it to be as small as I can possibly make it. And now you could see the inside of the auditorium. I didn't even realize that we had old theater seats in a pack before. I don't know why I kind of skipped over that when I was doing my cinema build, which was the first build of my Copperdale save file series that I'm doing. Because I don't think I even considered these to be used in that. Unless what seats did I end up using in the cinema? Those would have been perfect for it though, and I guess I just didn't pay enough attention to them. But they look really nice in here, and I use a lot of red carpet throughout, and I put some stains around to make it look a little bit older. I also make the outside a little bit more run down by putting a lot of like wall slime and like wall markings. I don't think I showed in the video though, because that part to me gets very repetitive and very boring quickly. So now I've just learned to stop recording in OBS. So what I'm just going to be placing a million holes in the walls, and then I know that you'll just be able to see what it looks like after anyway. You don't need to actually see the process of it. And this is the like ticket area, which I made pretty much just an office, and I was really struggling with figuring out the layout for this. So you could see I was going through different items to try and make them work. And I was like, you know what, let me just at first make where I think the ticket area would be. And so I put a stool down and just some shelves over there to pretend like they could go and open that window and give tickets. And because this room is so spacious, I decided to just make it completely into some sort of office of whoever runs the auditorium. Because what else could I have possibly put in this big space that's supposed to be like a ticket counter besides a million boxes? And so I just put some like file cabinets around, and I do put a little bit more decorations on the walls because of how like plain and boring it is. And I do the same thing with the lobby area too. I don't think I show me putting a bunch of posters down, but later on I go back in and I put just a little bit more stuff on the walls because the walls seemed so blank. And I really like the direction of the auditorium. It feels more so like a place you would come to see a play instead of just a boring, empty school auditorium that doesn't have a lot going on. So when you like walk in, there is kind of like a concession stand area that has like a counter space where you could get food and stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's functional. I don't remember what item I put down. I think is it the bubble tea stand I put down? I guess we'll have to see what I end up using for that area. I didn't try to see if it was functional when my sim was having their prom, but like there's like the food buffets upstairs and stuff too. And technically the stand is more so just for like kind of like set dressing because I don't know what else to put in the lobby area. And I wanted it to feel more so just like a place that you'd come to see any sort of play, and it's not just linked to the high school, even though it is like the high school auditorium. And my favorite part of the build is the basement, which I kind of mentioned in some of my other parts of my Copperdale save, was that I wanted it to be a scary haunted basement with some sort of lore that maybe like the mysteries of the town originates from some portal in the basement. And I made the basement a creepy looking, like, I guess it's a costume closet, and there's a place that your Sims like technically could get ready. Like there's like a makeup chair from Get Famous, and there's just a whole bunch of props and costumes down there. And then in like a dark corner, there's sort of like an open closet with a scary statue peeking out where I guess that would be the portal. And now I'm doing the lobby area. I have been making the lighting sort of slightly green because I feel like it gives off a creepy fluorescent like look to it. So I've been doing that with some of the areas, and I try and make it a little bit creepy at night too. So if your sim has prom here, there'll be different areas of the build that all the lights are pretty much off except for maybe like one random lamp. Like the downstairs basement is pretty much completely dark, which is scary to me, as well as like the prop closet, which is off to the side to the right. I mean, it's not really a prop closet, it just has some like spare lighting and things in there. But when I was planning this out, I was imagining it would be where like the production would keep some of the stuff that they bring on and off the stage. One thing that was giving me trouble that I couldn't like find a good enough thing was the curtains, because these curtains were perfect, but they didn't go all the way down the entire wall. And the ones that did, I just didn't like. And so I was trying to ignore the fact that they were cut off like that. And at one point, I was trying to layer two of them together, but it was just way too messy. And this is one of the signs that came with the Party Essentials kit that like my first look at the kit was literally me going onto this lot and then going through all the new items, and I felt like it was very fitting for an 80s haunted Copperdale. And I made this area a table where you could pick up pamphlets and stuff like that. And for the prom, it was really easy to convert because I just grabbed the prom voting board and I put it there. And then I brought the table from down there to upstairs. So it kind of looks like all the things in the build are being moved around for different activities, which makes me realize that maybe I should have had a place where they technically stored the career day tables. I didn't think that far ahead of it because that would have been really cool to actually have had it, but I could pretend like they fold up the tables and they put them somewhere else instead of having the whole tables thrown somewhere. And I don't show me setting up the career day or the graduation. I just did the prom because the prom I thought was the cutest and the most interesting, and the other ones was kind of just adding a few items here and there. And I did go back in after I was looking at the original auditorium, and I'd seen that that graduation had a buffet table upstairs. So I did like like a less decorated prom event for the graduation, which I'm realizing I probably could have just used the same prom one and then removed the prom voting board for it, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep it how I ended up doing it because I've never actually attended a Sims graduation in The Sims 4 before. I don't know what happens during it. I'm assuming they probably like walk along the stage or wherever the podium is, and that's it. And then maybe if you want food, I guess there's food upstairs now. But this is my favorite part of the build, which is the costume closet. And it was also inspired by my friend who had like a scary costume room in her summer camp. And so when I was doing this, I texted her about it because I was like, I'm gonna make this a creepy costume closet in the basement. And I wanted it to be really creepy. So you walk through a hallway behind the stage, and there's large mirrors and not a lot of lighting, down a staircase into a very tiny hallway that's barely has any lights. I don't even think there's a single light in there. And if it is, it's very dim. And there's just like one security camera. And then you walk down the next flight of stairs down here, and it's just filled with a bunch of stuff. It's very messy. And a lot of people would probably not want to go towards the back corner of it because there isn't really any costumes back there anyway. There's like a beaded curtain that leads to the closet that is slightly opened with the scary statue in it. I don't have the entire like custom lore that I'm making up for done yet. That's just gonna have to be built after. I was kind of hoping that it would be the same sort of system that I had when I was doing my Glimmerbrook save file, where that one I had like all the lore done pretty much for each build while I was doing the voiceover, and I had the Sims already made. But this one is definitely way more disorganized than that one. That's because it's been taking me a while, and it's like because this isn't my usual building style, so when I'm working on this, it has to be because I'm really in the mood to work on it, where the Glimmerbrook one was just like witchy aesthetic, which is very easy and quick for me to build. And it was very small too, so it was easy to come up with custom families and lore for it. This one, I'm still planning what each of the lots is going to be, and most of the Sims are going to probably live in an apartment building because I'm doing so many community lots. I really love doing community lots for this though, so I don't regret that. But I think a lot of the Sims will be living in an apartment building and will be made based on what I've already built. Like I'll have shop owners for certain things that I had. Maybe there could be a director who works here or something. That's just like an idea that popped into my head right now that might end up happening. It depends how many apartments I do and how many can actually fit without it becoming a mess. And I do want to try and finish the save file before the end of the summer. It is June right now, so I'd like to have it done in August. I don't know how many more lots there are because I two of them will probably be very quick because it'll be like a summer camp and then another sort of cabin build, which I feel like will be mostly woods anyway. But yeah, you could see that was the creepy statue I put back there because it scares me. And I was like, that's perfect then. And I feel like it's really nice and creepy. And then up here is where I imagine it's like either cheer practice or the dance team practices up here. It's the nice empty room that allows for the other events in the building, like the career day and prom and graduation. Which up here was originally, I was either going to make this looking down on the stage area, which would have been a huge waste of space, and I don't think I would have been able to fit any of the items I needed. And then I was also thinking of sort of like an art gallery up here where it would be like students' art that gets shown, but I didn't think that would really serve much of a purpose. And I don't really know how the cheer stuff works either, because I've never done that. But if your Sims have cheer practice and if it's here, maybe it actually functions. Who knows? And this is me doing the prom, which is the only special event that I show because again, it's not much is happening in the other ones anyway. And I place a good mix of high school years and the party essential stuff all around. And I did have my sim have her prom here because I was trying to play test it anyway. And the Sims, some of them do sit down on those seats, which is really nice. A lot of them do just kind of gather in the aisles, which is known to happen. It's the Sims. And I realized that I cut myself off when I was trying to decide how many items were left. I was trying to figure out how many lots were left, is what I mean. There's about 7 lots left, and one of them I do have half a build for, which I said much earlier on that I might actually move the general store to a bigger lot and use that one to make another community lot instead. And I think I will like that better because I was looking at how pretty the pier is, and I thought it would be nice to have another community lot that's so close to there instead of making that a farmhouse. Like I thought it would be really nice. So I'm going to most likely do that as long as I can make it work somehow. You'll have to wait just a little bit for some more Copperdale builds though, because Enchanted by Nature is going to be coming out, and I'm really excited to be building with it and sharing builds of it. And so I'm assuming that, maybe I'll have another Copperdale build towards the end of July. I think I'll be planning some of it out though in the meantime. I just won't be actively working on a video or uploading right away. So probably in about a month, I'll have another build ready for this because I am very excited to have Copperdale ready for me to do gameplay in because that's like also why I was doing this because I really love playing in Copperdale and I want the lots for myself too, especially the high school that I keep pushing off, but I'll get around to just conquering it one day. Because I was also very intimidated by the auditorium because I didn't know what I wanted it to be, and even just building this up, it was a slow process for me to get it to a point where I really liked it. And I am pretty happy with how it looks. At first, I had to like sell myself on it a little bit because it looks a bit strange, but I think that's what I really like about this build. In the meantime, if you do want to download some of my builds that I've made for it so far, I've got quite a few community lots. I have a cinema, I have a line of different shops that is a single lot. It has like a karaoke bar, a laundromat. It has I think it was a video rental store. Yeah, but those aren't technically functional because it's just like for decor, but the karaoke bar is the functional part of that lot. I also have a diner that I made that I think looks really cute. My sim that I have in Copperdale right now, he goes on jogs, and I love just watching him run past all of the community lots that I had built for it so far. I think they fit in really well and they look really nice together. I do have a one residential lot right now, which is 2 houses on one, so it's a rental residential. And now I have the auditorium. And I'm just about done decorating this. I pretty much am just doing the upstairs part, and then you'll be able to see some screenshots. I haven't taken all of them yet, so once this finishes up, I'm gonna have to go and take a couple more screenshots of the event lots that you didn't see yet, like the career day one, and I'll take some pictures of the graduation one even though it's very similar to the prom. I went back in and I took the pictures for each of the like special days. And I also decided to add a little bit more to the career day because it looked really boring and empty. So I added some more tables and some stuff on the walls, like things that might be like career related, and like chairs off to the side because I was like, oh, that looked really lazy of me, and it was because it was literally just me throwing what was needed in there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I didn't include any pictures of the prom because you would have seen that at the start, and also you watched me make that one, but you didn't watch me make the other ones. So now you can see them on the screen here. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna have another building landscape ASMR video up next week and a whole lot of other builds coming up soon. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye.